We about to break through. We about to break through. Tell the enemy they can't stop us now, man. We breaking through. Yeah, we broke through. Yeah, we broke through. Tell the enemy they can't stop us now, man. We breaking through. We about to break through. We about to break through. Tell the enemy they can't stop us now, man. We breaking through. Yeah, we broke through. Yeah, we broke through. Tell the enemy they can't stop us now, man. We breaking through.
Welcome to another episode of The Breakthrough. I am one of your co-hosts, BilionAir Carter, and to the left of me is...
your other co-host, Sophina. This is our 6th episode. Where did the time go? There are so many creative artists out here in LA, SoCal area in general. But when we think about historical, that means history and to do with amazing independent artists out here in LA.
You know, that is right, Sophina. You know, the amount of talent coming from Southern California is heavy. It is a whole vibe. And you know, I cannot talk about Southern California without bringing Nipsey Hussle into the picture. Rest in paradise, my brother.
Yes, R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. He is a legend and literally one of the biggest influences in West Coast rap. Like,
Yes.
literally.
Yeah.
His music literally lived way past his hits.
Yes.
It goes on and on beyond the hits as well. He has his marathon clothing store
Yes.
and his dedication to community activism. We lost him, obviously, at a very young age, 33. But the impact on the world that he really had just lives on.
Man, that is a fact. You know, Nipsey Hussle, he was born in the Crenshaw district, Los Angeles. He grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of gang violence is going on out. But however, he dedicated his time to gang prevention while he was out there.
Yep. Definitely leaving the world better than he, came in with it.
You know, that is true, Sophina. You know, what makes Nipsey an independent artist, even though he did sign the Epic Records, then departed from them after they had financial issues, he
Mhm.
remained an independent artist since 2010
Mhm.
after leaving Epic. And then he actually founded his own record label, you know, All Money In.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Was that the album with YG and Dom Kennedy?
Yes, you
Oh.
know it. Classic. You know, Nipsey Hussle is definitely hard to follow, but you know, we can have an entire show on him just off of his body of artwork and everything what he's done for the community as well. It
Yeah.
was a blessing.
He is just amazing.
Still is a blessing.
Literally, still. His legacy continues. But it's time to switch our lanes and industries to our second artist who may have inspired Nipsey because was born way before his time, so it's a possibility. Her name is Betty Saar. At 96, she is still relevant in the arts community around the world.
Hold on. Did you just say 96?
Yes, Queen Betty is 96 and first became known for her piece, The Liberation of Aunt Jemima's. I wonder if it has a correlation with the syrup, because all that was my favorite.
Man, I know, and it's gone now.
I know.
You know what? Hold on. You are going way too fast right now. This queen created a piece in 1972 that challenged the status by liberating Aunt Jemima all over the United States.
Yeah. And the syrup.
Man, talk about liberation.
Right, exactly. That piece transformed Aunt Jemima into a symbol of Black power. She is still widely known across the whole world, the country, and all that kind of stuff for countless pieces that really challenge the racial stereotypes.
Powerful queen.
Yeah.
Powerful. You know, she is all over the map. And Betty was awarded the 2020 Wolfgang Hahn Prize. She is the 26th winner of this prestigious award. We see you. Congratulations.
Yes, soul painter Betty Saar. Congratulations, really. That is amazing. But don't worry, we have another artist for y'all today.
Our last but not least artist is in the food industry. Food is art and science combined.
It is. So how many of us eat with our eyes first? All of us, duh, of course. LA has some of the most amazing food and restaurant places ever.
Facts. You can find every type of food, especially great vegan food.
He's a vegan. That's why he said that. I'm not, but I've been eating vegan food everywhere with them. But we have two amazing food artists, Ron and Babette Davis, who opened up their restaurant in 2008 called Stuff I Eat. I haven't tried it yet. I gotta go try it.
Oh, yes, most definitely. And they are serving stuff that we all need to eat.
Oof, I could taste it right now. I'm hungry.
Ooh, did you hear that?
What?
My stomach growling. I'm hungry.
Mine too. They're making a song together at this point. If you could design a perfect chef for Los Angeles, they might seem a lot like Ron and Babette Davis. These two designed a restaurant providing tasty, healthy, plant-based food in the community.
You know, a lot of great talent coming out of LA area. The breakthrough, breaking a way through highlighting some LA independent artists who used their talents well and made lucrative businesses with it.
I'm inspired and I'm hungry. The breakthrough did it again.
Yes.
Comment your favorite LA chef, restaurant, artists, all that below so we could go check them out.
Yes. Make sure you guys also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram, which is The Breakthrough 2019.
Ooh, yes, yes. Today has been the best. I am filled with gratitude.
Facts. Shout out to all the independent artists and the production team for making this possible. Oh, yeah. And thank you, Sophina.
Oh, appreciate you too. And the whole team. Well, let's hit the streets, guys. We'll be back with another.
Until then, breakthrough.
This feeling, it make me so high. I got that energy. Haters be wondering why. I got that energy. This feeling, it make me so high.
What is up, y'all? This is Billionaire Carter with The Breakthrough Season 2, and I am loving the energy that I am feeling once again here at the Knowledge Shop, which is actually in the Crenshaw district of Los Angeles, California, right in the hood. But you don't feel like you in the hood when you in here because the energy and the love that's being felt that Miss Yolande brings all throughout is just a blessing. And one thing, this is an independent school. So therefore, you know about the breakthrough. We're all about independence. And I'm going to let Miss Yolanda speak.
Well, it started with my history really is I'm not from here. I'm a Brit born of Trinidad parents, and we've traced our family back. We're Nigerian Yoruba. So I know truly who I am as a Black woman. And my parents in England, from the moment they got there in the 60s, was all about education. So I grew up in a house surrounded by books like what you see. My mother worked for Hatchard's the booksellers and would bring home 10, 20 books a week. And my dad was an avid reader. He just loved books. And I was reading Charles Dickens at the age of 2. So I had this really gifted, I know the term now. Obviously, when I was growing up, we didn't know the term. I was a gifted child. So when my father took me to school, my first school I went to for kindergarten, when we got there after a week, I said to my dad, all these kids keep going, ba, ka, da, learning phonics, right? And my dad said, yeah, that's called phonics, because I'm a little 5-year-old little girl. And I said, but why don't they read books like me? I don't understand. So the head teacher called my dad in the room and said, there's not really much we can do for her here. So there's a little church school up the road, though, which we are recommending you should send your daughter to. And I ended up going to a school where I was put into classes with 9-year-old children. So I was this little child. And there began my lifelong interest in education, right? So I went on and I went all the way through the public school system in England. And then I went to work. I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I learned about that at the age of 14, that this white guy never had to work again. He had made all the money he made at 42 And I went home and I said to my dad, well, why are you working? And my mum, why are you working? I want to be like this guy. So I decided the best way to learn to be an entrepreneur, because my parents were not entrepreneurs. My dad worked for British Rail. My mother was a computer whiz kid working for Hatchards, that I needed to learn from the corporate sector. And there's nowhere better than learning in the retailing sector in England. So I worked in retailing. And while I was there in the first 10 years, I moved really high up the ladder really fast with no degree. And everyone kept saying, who's this black woman who's already like at director level at the age of 20 something in this organization? And so I said, one day I went into my boss and I said, why isn't there nobody who looks like me on the top floor of this organization? And he said, well, what are you going to do about it? He threw it right back at me. And I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I said, but what I do know is I can't be in this building and be the only black person in this building. And then one night I was working late and there they were. There was the black people in England cleaning my offices, vacuuming the floors. And I said, oh, I know what I got to do. So I went back to him the next day. I said, there are people who work in this organization. They're all our cleaners and our janitors or our shop fillers. And I need to change that. And he said, how are you going to do it? I said, you need to do something called a secondment. And I need to go and work in an organization that trains and develops minorities. And I need to tell them what I've learned from being here. And he trusted me and he sent me out for 2 years. And my work won one of the very first national training awards. I recruited young black men and women from the communities of London where black people lived. And I trained them to become managers in the retailing sector. And they went on to have successful careers. And I said, I have a forte. I can train people, develop people. And I was beginning to put together that entrepreneurial skill and came to America in the 80s to do some research for the British government. And there was something you guys did that we didn't have. You have HBCUs, you have historical black colleges. We don't have those in Europe. You had organizations like Black MBA, Jack and Jill, Urban League. We didn't have any of those kind of organizations in the 80s in England. And those organizations helped to develop in your communities people of talent who were gifted, who then would tell me, my parents were my role models. They would identify coaches for us. You could win scholarships to go to college. There are historically black colleges. And then when you get into organizations, you have minority divisions that help mentor and develop. We didn't have none of that in Europe in the 80s. Absolutely nothing. So I went back home and I created a company called Global Graduates. I ran Global Graduates for 10, 15 years. And then I did this. I started telling stories on documentaries. And of course, once you start telling stories about why black people are successful, someone somewhere is going to want to take you out of that market. So I'm so glad, I'm so proud of you that you have created a media system where you tell our stories and we control that narrative. Because when you do programs for the BBC and others, they control the narrative, not us.
Man, you're right. And that's why here at The Breakthrough, these interviews, this time spent with the independent artists in all facets in life are key.
Right.
What we're doing, this is very key. So we're gonna definitely have a in-depth conversation with you even more. But make sure that y'all come down to the Knowledge Shop, get your children, get your heirs in line to where they need to be. And here at the Knowledge Shop, they are going to be in line. And we're going to drop the handles and everything for do you have an Instagram? Do you have
We have all of it.
So in the description, we're going to drop that. Once again, thank you so much, Miss Yolande, for your
you.
time. And I love the energy here, and I'm gonna continue to have my son be involved and just know we're gonna open up other schools as well too. I know my mother, who is actually a producer here on the show, she's an educator as well too, and we're all gonna come
And
together.
has taught at the Knowledge Shop.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And has taught here at the Knowledge Shop.
Right.
There's a reason why my son is here. So I thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
And we love you so much.
Thank you. And I love my people very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
That's The Breakthrough in the streets. We out.
We're out.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Billionaire Carter with The Breakthrough Season 2 in-depth interview with my co-host.
Bobbi Brown.
Let's get it. We have another special treat, an independent publisher by the name of Sarah Harris. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Harris.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor. Appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. Well, let's get right into it. I know the audience wants to know, how did you become, or how did you get started being a publisher?
Certainly. Telling my age, but my journey starts over 20 years ago, actually, because by trade, I'm a graphic designer.
Oh.
And in my family, we deal with the event industry, from marketing, publicists, consulting, and event planning and whatnot. And so, and working with my sister, who at the time had an event firm, I saw that there was a need for a master calendar of events. And so what I started was a publication called Save the Date at the time. And it was primarily to be a calendar of events. But, you know, like I said, I'm a trade as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So I'm right there. That's being an artist, independent, all that, freelancing. But I love telling the stories, like you guys, of people and what they're doing, and just seeing the passions of people. And so the newsletter or publication really evolved into a full-on magazine. Wonderful. I was blessed to be able to bring on great talented writers, photographers, and everything. And so that I had that first publication. And there was a gap in between, and it's always remained my passion. And so then that's how, when I said I've got to get back to it, and I began Sweet Life SoCal magazine. What's been most rewarding is, along the way, finding other talented people. And so, like with Angela, being your mother, being my editor,
Yes,
it's been the greatest gift, because we gel so much, and being able to find the stories and talk about how we're going to pull that together. It's a really a life rewarding opportunity to be able to publish a magazine, because you touch people's lives, you get to be able to learn about them, and you get to be able to showcase and present them in their brilliance.
Sarah, so as a publisher of magazines, we know media is a big influence in society. Everyone cannot put down their phones. So how powerful is that to you? How do you carry out those efforts? And how does it feel to be a part of that industry?
Sweet Life SoCal magazine definitely wanted to be high end and presented in a way where people are doing great work. We want to be able to present them in the best possible manner as well. You can't really find another magazine in this region like Sweet Life SoCal that accommodate to a people of color, especially Black people that we feature. And so we have that, but most importantly, the editorial, this content, the stories that we tell and how we tell it is supreme. And I thank my sweet team for that. Great staff of writers and editor. Again, just can't say it enough. But I'm just saying, it's just so important, because after they see it and they say, "Oh, what's that?" We have Kadeem Hardison for our summer issue. Instant Draw, one of our most popular issues. They're like, "What's up with Kadeem? What is going on with him?" Because we were catching up with Kadeem. They had Tabitha Smiley, who started a radio station, Unapologetically Black, with KBLA, right there, covering them. This one we did a fun issue for our fall issue with the foodie issue. So we're covering good foods, restaurants, new openings, what's coming. And so we like to kind of cover the bases, but it's a great responsibility to be in this industry, because media is one of the things that's really shaping the way that we live today. It drives in terms of people's perspectives, depending on what side you're on and whatnot,
Right.
it really has an effect in people's lives. So,
Yes.
with much is given, much is required.
You're
And
right.
I feel that way about media. So thank you for asking that question. Very important.
And actually, Ms. Harris is the president of the Black Business Owner Association, I believe. Right?
Black Business Association.
Black Business Association.
Mhm.
My bad. She's the president of Black Business Association.
Yes.
And how powerful is it to have your own business, and what is that position like for you, and how are you acting out as president to help other highly melanated queens and kings to become business owners in the community?
Thank you. Yes, I'm so proud. I just recently became a president and CEO of the Black Business Association. It's the oldest active ethnic business support organization in the state of California. It was founded in 1970. Recently had the longest serving president to retire, and I took over this past year, and I've been working within the BBA with him for over 20 years. Again, telling my age, but but it's been such an honor because it's so important, for Black people. We're just naturally have the entrepreneurial spirit because we have to do things to survive, and it just comes in a way where, especially with the pandemic, it was just an explosion of businesses popping up because really the pandemic gave us an opportunity to rethink, reevaluate what's happening in our own lives and say, this is the best opportunity for me to now do this. And so we saw that explosion. And so being the president of the Black Business Association, I take that with, again, just like with the media industry, I take that with the sincerest, of appreciation to be bestowed with this stewardship that we want to see ways of helping businesses to excel. Me as a business owner, I see the ways that we really struggle in as far as getting good help, retaining good help, with marketing, social media. Oh my God, unless you're just a natural at that stuff, okay, forget it. You need help, right? It's a job. And so, and just being able to get connected to the right people in the industry that can really affect your business, the training, the financial literacy, having the opportunity to also serve and be a part to help others make change and difference. So there's a lot that I'm excited about with the Black Business Association that we'll be doing.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to elevating it, to introducing some. I love breakthrough, okay, because it also represents to me disruption, and getting to that next level and changing things up a little bit. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to and doing in the Black Business Association is introducing some little bit of different ways of really affecting in terms of helping our businesses to advance and grow, because that is our true mission, is the advancement of Black businesses.
Yes.
I love that. Well, congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you.
President.
Yes.
That's an amazing accomplishment, and your purposeful way of life is very enlightening to me. So how important is it to you to stay independent and be your own?
Yes. Well, okay, so I told you I trade. I'm a graphic artist in terms of the skill set that I have and marketing. But as an artist, I have that creative streak. I have that desire to express myself. I have vision, and it takes an independent spirit to be able to do that because it's just something in you that needs to get out. I know you know this, right?
Yes.
In your
Dreaming.
yes, in your wonderful music, you express yourself, and so the importance for independent artists, we need that because creativity expression, all of that stuff is needed in this world. I had a talk myself where we did an episode on arts and DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion in the arts. And so, and with that, we were discussing about how important it is for the arts, because, they want to reduce the budget in schools and everything for arts and for PE usually, for physical education. And those it's so critical for our children today to be able to have that, because if you can't express yourself, what are we, drones, just follow the leader kind of thing? No. We need some different ways of people being able to get outlets and
Therapy.
people to tell us that no, yeah, you do it like that for 100 years, but let me tell you now, how about this or whatever. So,
Miss Harris, how do you know when you break through?
Well, that's a good question. Because I think that you just start to see certain things just coming at you, opportunities, calls, getting noticed for this. People, things just starts clicking and it picks up and you can feel it. I think that you can really feel it inside you that, oh, okay, wow, it's really starting to take off here. And a lot of times too is being also to recognize it so that you can act on it and be ready for it. It's so important that you keep struggling and striving, and sometimes you keep yourself in that space, that you don't really look up and see, oh, it's happening at you. I remember usually being kids and you tell the stories about if if you're struggling in the water or whatever, and then somebody sent a log along and you just let it flow by, or somebody comes along and they have like a raft, and then I'm believing and trusting that it's gonna a boat's gonna come to get me. You let all of these stuff go by, but you're not really realizing that this is it. Grab onto it. That's the opportunity to go for it, and stop thinking that your idealistic manner of breakthrough is supposed to happen. So you got to be able to recognize it, because it may not come exactly how you envision it to be. So yeah, breakthrough is, to me, breakthrough means that it's like a gush, it just starts flowing, and it's almost like you can't stop it. And no matter what you try, it just starts to happen, and that ripple effects just keep going. So that's what breakthrough represents to me.
What really resonated with me, what you said, is act and be ready when the opportunities do come.
You have
That was
to.
very
You have to, because if that rush is coming at you, it's just gonna flow over you.
It is.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss it.
You're gonna miss it. So yeah, you have to be ready.
So, Miss Sarah, what tips and advice could you give any independent artists right now working on their breakthrough?
Oh, certainly. I would say, of course, you got to remain true to yourself. You got to remain true to yourself. They use were authentic, and you do have to be authentic and everything. But also, too, if you're in your passion, if you're in what you feel is your calling, your mission, don't give up.
Yes.
Because it'll come. But the only thing I have to say that needs to go with that is that you also have to um, put yourself in a way where you can receive and get opportunity. If you're sitting at home, and you're thinking that somebody's just going to call you up, that's out of the blue, and you're not out there making connections. You know what I'm saying? Or learning, something. Maybe it's a particular a way of doing something, or a new service or product, or somebody else is doing something, and you really should study them, because that's an idea of what you're trying to get to. So remain true to yourself and don't give up, but don't not get out there and be proactive about what it is you need to get to, because it's not going to just fall in your lap unless you're just the luckiest, blessed person in the world. There are some people like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people just I don't know,
born in it and
just born in it, and it happens, and God bless them.
Yeah.
You know, but for most of us, we have to really work at it and go get it.
Exactly. That faith without works, you know, it's really dead, to be honest. You
It's
know,
really dead.
believe, and know all this, but if we don't out there
And if
to
you
play,
don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? You got to
Starts
believe in
within.
yourself. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's great. That's great.
heart, hustle, work
Mhm.
ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, but seek, go out there and seek what you need. If something's missing, go out there and seek it and go get it.
Yes.
Go get it.
Go get it.
I love it. I love it.
Love that.
Well, we're definitely gonna put your handles and the Sweet SoCal links and all that on Instagram, your Instagram handles, the website for Sweet Life
Thank
as
you,
well.
yes.
So we can put that on. Let's get this. This is
Kadeem Hart.
Kadeem.
Catching up with Kadeem.
man, it's you see, and I actually, to be honest, I've been in this magazine a
Yeah.
few times myself. So you know, I maybe one day I'll be the cover. I'll speak that into existence. You know, hey, you know, so I can
Go out there and get it.
Hey,
like
go out
you
there,
said.
like you said. But Ms. Harris, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for everything, for being here with The Breakthrough in the In-Depth Interview, Season 2. I'm one of your co-hosts, Billionaire Carter, and to the left of me,
Bobbi Brown.
yes. And until next time,
Breakthrough.